The speaker, the first speaker of the day, Dr. Anjali Chhabaria.
Thank you, the Rotarian Dr. Sushil Poddar. Good morning, one and all present. It is a proud privilege to get an opportunity to introduce Dr. Anjali Chhabaria. I had the opportunity of knowing Dr. Anjali 10 years back when she was addressing the recipients during the orientation program at Trident, Mumbai. And my daughter, Rotilet Surabhi Shukla, was in the audience being a recipient of the award. Dr. Anjali Chhabaria, a leading psychiatrist, psychotherapist, and the author of Death is Not the Answer: Understanding Suicide and Ways to Prevent It, has been contributing to the field of mental health since 27 years. She runs Mind Temple, Mumbai, a mental health center which supports the psychiatric, emotional, and behavioral needs of individuals by using a combination of different techniques and viewpoints, which is facilitated by the psychiatrists and psychologists who work together, tailoring the treatment process. With the increasing need to reach out to the corporate, she has launched the Mind Temple Institute of Behavioral Sciences. She is a trained past life regression therapist, hypnotist, and introduced innovative treatment modalities with aim of constantly improving patient care. She is also the founder of Golden Citizens Trust, which was statutorily established in 2018. She has been the president of Bombay Psychiatric Society in 2001, served on the board of the Children's Film Festival Society, and is currently a director on the Salam Bombay Foundation. Welcome, Dr. Anjali Chhabaria.
Thank you so much for having me here. Uh, so is the flow mine already, or do we have any more formalities? Okay. Thank you. I don't know what the world would be without Rotary and Rotrax, because I find them the most hardworking, the most enthusiastic lot. And whenever I want something to be done, I just approach them and I know it's going to be done. So I believe all of you have had a fantastic yesterday with lots and lots of inspiring stories. I was just going through the list of the speakers we've had yesterday, and I think you guys have worked very hard to put all of this together. So thank you for including me as one of the speakers. I love talking to the youth, and yes, I'm a psychiatrist. Every time someone asks me, oh, are you analyzing me? And I turn around and tell them, no, only if you pay me, I will analyze you. Otherwise, I'm not going to analyze you. So let's start with the topic of the day. And that is life beyond COVID, life. Well, every time we say life beyond COVID, people say, think life beyond 2020. That's how COVID has struck all of us. And there are 2-3 factors which have actually affected the youth. Lots and lots of studies have been done to see how the youth have been impacted by COVID. Because if we have to talk about life beyond COVID, we just need to analyze these factors a little bit to see how we can move beyond. And for that, what I want all of you in the audience, especially my young friends, to see whether this is a story that relates to you, and if it is not, how do we help people? Because road tracks are the ones to help everybody, right from environment to birds to animals to people around them. So let's see whether these stories impact us. And if they do, how do we get out of it? And if they don't, how do we help other people to get out of this and move on to life beyond COVID? So, the first way COVID has impacted us is it's putting a lot of fear in our own minds about our health and about the health of our loved ones. Now, so we've all spent a last 6 months, in fear that what will happen if we get COVID. We've locked ourselves up. The lockdown itself has created a lot of stress in families, in relationships. Many of us live in maybe a small, compact house. So just finding space and finding internet to connect becomes a struggle for each one of us. And of course, my young friends have been impacted because, somewhere, somehow people always expect the youth to adjust. Tumko to adjust karna chahiye is a statement that we hear as if to say that it is only us who are supposed to adjust. So I have friends, young friends, who have just for them to study, they've had to alter their sleep wake schedule. Some of them stay up the whole night so that they can interact with their friends and they can interact and they can do their studies and get internet properly. And then there are those who do it because they do not want to interact with the rest of the family, because they feel that if there is more interaction, there will be more problems. Of course, some of them also do it because they want privacy. Earlier they could go out, meet whoever they want, discuss whatever they want. And now suddenly they're finding it challenging to do that because every time they're talking to their friends, there are people eavesdropping, and that creates a little bit of a problem. How do you meet your girlfriend, your boyfriend, without everyone else peering and finding out what is happening in your life? And of course, studies, paying attention is something that a lot of young people tell me that they're not able to do. We had plans, we wanted a job, we wanted to study further, we wanted to move on in our lives, and suddenly there seems to be one big full stop, which is not getting out of our lives. And all that has impacted our mental health. Since I'm a psychiatrist, I will talk about the impact on mental health today. And what do we see around us? Insomnia. 40% of the world is finding it difficult to sleep. They sleep at odd hours, they wake up at odd hours. That leads to a lot of stress and strain around them. Why can't you sleep early? Why can't you wake up early? Why can't you help in the household chores? Is something that most of the youth have to hear. Anxiety about what is going to happen in the future, uncertainty. I know a lot of youngsters. Ma'am was talking about the Navrottam Saxena Foundation Scholarship. One of the organizations that they also are kind of co-sister run is the Salam Bombay Foundation. And what we have found is that a lot of youth thought that their lives would move on, they would get going with their studies, they would get a job, and they would be able to financially contribute. And somewhere all those dreams seem to have come to a little bit of a standstill for this year. So, of course, a lot of youngsters, I believe the crowd over here is also people who were taking the exams. And we don't know when the exams will happen, when we'll be able to study, when schools are actually going to open, and how will they open? Whether it'll be safe for us to go to school, whether we will go to school, pick up the virus and give it to everybody around us. How do we deal with people around us? These are a lot of the questions, and I'm going to strive to answer some of these questions while talking to you. And of course, we have an interactive session where I'm going to take questions which come from the audience. So let's talk about sleep issues first, which are, just like we have heard that fever is the symptom of a coronavirus. Similarly, insomnia is a symptom of a mental health issue, whether it is anxiety or depression. So, but every time you don't get sleep does not mean that you're anxious or depressed. In fact, what we suggest, just as we talk about a dental hygiene where we wake up in the morning and brush our teeth, there is something called as sleep hygiene. I'll just tell you a little bit about that. So, first of all, please use your bed only to sleep. A lot of youngsters I know eat on their bed, sleep on their bed, watch TV on their bed, study on the bed. And because of that, the poor bed gets confused. The bed does not know whether it's what is my role. So, what we need to do is, even if you are living in a very small space, the place to sleep, the space that is assigned to sleep should only be to sleep. The second thing is, as soon as you wake up, please get out of your bed. And, we've all heard about becoming Atmanirbhar. Become Atmanirbhar, go make a cup of coffee for yourself or eat something. Do not lie down in bed, because this is the time all your thoughts will come to haunt you. All your fears will come together, and suddenly you will wake up feeling anxious. If you continue to stay in bed, the anxiety will only multiply. So please get out of bed and start doing whatever work that you have to. But yes, please eat something before that, because the brain needs glucose to function. I know a lot of youngsters today are struggling with weight issues, and everybody wants to be thin, because if you're on social media, you cannot be fat. And suddenly we have a lot of people struggling with what we call as body image issues. So it is extremely important that so people go on to these yo-yo diets, people go on to intermittent fasting and all sorts of things. Now, let me just tell you one thing, that only 1 in 10,000 people has the body that 9999 are working towards. So just forget about it. Okay, we have to first stay fit, we have to first stay healthy. And for that, food is extremely important. A good breakfast is very important, because it's only when the brain has glucose that the brain can function. Once you do that, okay, make a chart of what are the things to be done for the day. Okay, I have been suggesting this to all youngsters, is that divide your day into 5. Okay, one part of the day is for your sleep, for your food, for taking care of yourself. Okay, exercise, do not over exercise. Okay, please eat healthy. Do not go into any of those excessive diets or excessive proteins, which may impact you negatively. Even if you need a diet, do it under the supervision of a nutritionist. The second thing is, I said divide your day into 5. So one is taking care of yourself. The second thing is taking care of whatever work you need to do. If you're a student, you need to study, just sit and study at that time. Please switch off all your social media, because what we have found is that social media just gets you more and more distracted, and your ability to focus, which is anyway not there today, because you're not going to school, you're not going to college, you're not meeting friends, is because of that you're not able to do it. So just only 1/5 of the day you have to study, not more than that. Those of you who are trying to work from home, okay, this is the time maybe you need to focus on your work and do it properly. Okay, do not overwork. There are people who are getting so confused about how to balance their work and their home life that they are constantly working, and for them the day does not end. So just make sure that whatever time of work, whatever work is assigned to you, finish it at that time. The third part of the day is doing things that you've always wanted to do. Some of us are bathroom singers, some of us are stand-up comedians, Some of us are artists. Some of us have thought whether we should venture into any other sphere of work, but have never had the guts to do it. This is your time to do that. So whatever you want to do, there are so many free courses available online today that you can be sitting in one village in any part of the world and access a course which is happening in some of the best universities. So please make use of it. 2020 COVID has given us many more opportunities that we ever dreamt of. So there are lots and lots of things that we can do today sitting at home. The fourth thing is investing in your friends and family. This is the time to reach out to your friends, to reach out to different people in your family, to reach out to the entire world. Whoever you want to reach out, whoever you want advice from, all you need to do is either pick up the phone, either send them a WhatsApp message, either send them an email and ask them whatever you want. With your close friends and family, please inquire about their health, and second, discuss whatever issues that you have. This is the time to share if you care, because it's only when you share your deepest, darkest secrets will you get the answers, will you feel comfortable. Now, I'm going to take an extra minute on sharing because we find this extremely important in our mental health campaign. Now, what we have seen is people who can openly share their problems, are the ones who seek help when they have a problem. But what typically happens is many of us come from houses where we are told, no, don't share your deep, dark secrets because people will laugh at you, people will judge you, and nobody is going to help you. You have to help yourself. But that's not true. Imagine if your friend came and shared his problem, with you and said that, this is what is happening to you. This is what is happening to me. What would you turn around and say? Would you laugh at him? Or would you turn around and tell him that, okay, you know what? You're not able to study. Come, you and I will study together. You need a job as a mechanic. Let me ask my uncle who has a car, who works in a car workshop or who has a car factory. And let me see if I can help you. So it's only when we ask for help are people willing to help us. And similarly, when you ask for help, you're also imbibing the confidence in that person that if you need help, you can ask me for help. And that's how we can all help each other. Because today you may need the help, tomorrow someone else may need the help. And sometimes when we have a good close group of friends where we can openly talk about our issues, whether it is our concern about our parents getting COVID or whether it is our concern because our parents are fighting too much, you may typically hear, "Hey, don't worry, my parents are also fighting, jada tension mat kar." And that is how we form a support network, because road tracks are always meant to support the world. But if we don't support ourselves, if we don't support each other, we will never be able to make the impact of reaching out to the world. So this was the fourth part of the thing. The next part, and the very, very important part, is fifth part, which is helping someone, which you guys are always used to doing. Now, how does it help us? Lots and lots of studies have shown us that when we do an act of kindness, there are hormones which change in our body. There's a hormone called oxytocin which gets released. So whether it is keeping a bowl of water for a bird who may be thirsty outside your window, to giving a chapati to the stray animal, to helping the environment by forwarding some healthy, good messages on social media, to organizing a blood camp or a plasma donation camp amongst the youth to help COVID. These are all acts of kindness. Now, how does it also help us is because when you divide your day into 5 and give that much attention to every job that is required, what happens is you save yourself from something which is plaguing the world, and that is overthinking, which leads to anxiety. Now, what is anxiety? Anxiety is that dirty feeling that you get before your exam. Just before you're going for an exam, you have a dirty feeling in the pit of your stomach. Some of us may want to run to the loo. Some of us become breathless. Some of us have cold and clammy hands. That is a feeling which is called as anxiety. When we feel anxious, what happens is that the brain freezes and is not able to think clearly. And when you're not able to think clearly, that is the time that you do not know how to function. Sometimes when we don't deal with anxiety, anxiety becomes a part of us. And because of that, we are not able to function, because every time anxiety ka kaam hi ek hai, it will only tell you what your fears are. So even if you're doing something, even if you're studying well, even if you're going for an interview, you will, in your mind, you'll say, oh, what if I do badly? What if I'm not able to get the job? What if I'm not able to get the marks? And then anxiety takes over. One step ahead of anxiety is what we call as depression. Now, depression is not what we have read about or heard about. Most of us feel that, oh, one day if you're depressed, you say, oh, I'm in depression. It's not like that. When a feeling of sadness or a lack of motivation continues for days together, when every time you wake up, you don't feel motivated to do anything, when there's a loss of interest coupled with negative ideas in your mind, that is what we call as a depression. Now, what we need to do is we need to understand that, yes, I am feeling depressed. And just as we are telling, the entire world is telling you today that at the sign of the first fever, get yourself tested for COVID. The same way I'm telling you that if you're feeling depressed, there are so many free mental health helplines which are all over the world. Just reach out to a counselor, reach out, speak to a psychologist and understand what is happening to you. Sometimes we get depressed because of a situation which we have no control about. Family member is in hospital, is on oxygen, you're doing the best you can, but at the same time, now it's getting to you. When you talk to somebody about it, yes, the person is not going to give you the solution, but it has been seen that when you talk to someone about it, you start feeling better and your mind becomes calmer and clearer and your mind can find better solutions. Sometimes the depression can be because of a hormonal issue, which we call as an endogenous depression, which can happen to anybody. It can happen to a 6-year-old child. It can happen to an 85-year-old grandmother. Anyone can go through, just like anyone can get corona. Similarly, anybody can get depressed. For that, sometimes a medication may be required. Now, why I'm telling you all this is because, yes, mental health issues are one of the most important. So for the last 6 to 7 months, we have been looking after our physical health. For the next 1 year, we need to invest time in our mental health. And that is why the WHO has chosen the slogan of investment in mental health for all. We need to invest time in mental health. We need to invest efforts. And yes, if your mental health is fine, you can also reach out to other people. One of the other symptoms of a bad mental health is when people start popping in pills or start drinking alcohol when they're not being able to sleep. Or they also start using, substances just to feel good. Come on, guys, let's smoke up and feel good. Kuch nahi hai, it's green, it's clean. All this is rubbish. You want to invest in yourself, you want to feel good, go for a jog, go for a run, cycle, do things that you haven't done, play games with your loved ones, and feel good about it yourself. Do not get trapped in a world of social media where you are only spending time with yourself and with virtual people. I have seen that a lot of people have found escapism in gaming, and they play games for hours together because they're not able to figure out what to do. Basically, they're just escaping, they're just trying to spend their time so that they feel tomorrow is going to be another day which is going to be better. But yes, the situation may not change outside, or the situation may change outside, but you will find yourself trapped in this whole world of either games or of social media addiction, which become another problem. So it's important that if we want to be the youth of tomorrow, if we want to have a great life post COVID, or even during COVID, we need to invest in our own mental health by, yes, taking care of our physical health, by ensuring a good sleep hygiene, by making sure that we do not get sucked into any addictions, whether it is social media, whether it is alcohol, whether it is any substances. And the most important thing is we need to reach out. So if you're having a bad day, if you're having a problem today, pick up the phone and talk to someone. Do not feel shy. If you have good friends, talk to them. If you don't have good friends, or if you're feeling shy to talk to either a friend or a family member or someone you look up to, pick up the phone and talk to a mental health professional. Because the most successful people are the ones who take help. It's not that people don't fail. I'm sure you heard a lot of speakers yesterday tell you that there were people who helped them out. And yes, today, if somebody helps you out to think differently, to feel differently, maybe tomorrow you people are going to be able to help someone else out. I think we have, yes, I would like to take questions. Yes, I can already see. Are you going to be asking me the questions, or do you want me to take them off the chat? I think if you ask me the questions, that will be better.
Yes, Anjali, I think it
Yeah.
was a brilliant talk. That's Anju. Yeah,
Hi.
so yeah.
Yes.
Andy, there's one protractor who's been assigned that duty. He's going to pick up the questions from the chat box and he's going to answer.
Great. Great.
Right?
Great. Great.
Over to you, Navi. Abhishek के पास बैठा है,
Abhishek, you can ask Navi to ask. Navi, Navi, are you there?
Okay, I can pitch in. And ma'am, there's one question from Khushi Singh. She says, sometimes we try to help someone. The person, instead of feeling good, starts find motive of help or misunderstand the whole situation. This is what's happening with everyone who wants to help someone. I have faced that situation. How we can motivate ourselves to move ahead and restart.
Okay. Okay. So we'll take one question from this. She's asked quite a few questions. So the first thing is that when I am trying to help somebody, that person may misunderstand me. Okay. Now, again, there's a very, very important topic which I have not touched is why should we help people today is because what we are also seeing is that when people are not getting help for mental health issues, there are people who are moving towards suicide. The last few months, we've been hearing a lot about mental health issues, even on social media, and about suicide. So, of course, when we have a friend who is feeling low, who wants to harm themselves, what we need to do is for someone to help them. It is a help seeking behavior. Every suicidal attempt is a help seeking behavior. So we need to help. One of the things you do not do is gossip about it. Don't go around telling everybody, "Arey, this one is suicidal." Instead, form a group of people, because one person handling this, it can give a lot of stress to that caregiver. So it's important to make a group of people who can help this person. Second, this is not a secret. Okay, if someone says, "I'm going to share a secret with you," please don't tell anyone else about it. This is not a secret, because this, if you think that you're keeping a secret and tomorrow morning when you wake up and your friend is not there, you're going to feel terrible about it. Okay. Third, this is a medical emergency, so you need to get help. Just like if I had to get a heart attack here, someone will rush me to the hospital. Similarly, you need to get medical help, because whatever you do, you are not trained in it. You can only help, and you can take the person to the hospital. Okay. So when I say hospital, means contact a good psychologist, contact a good psychiatrist, tell them my friend is suicidal. Okay. So now when you do all this, chances are that you will be able to help the person. Fourth is, stick around till the person feels better. That means if you may need to accompany your friend to the psychiatrist and he or she may give medicines, please do not believe that ye neend ki dawaiyan hai, ye dawai khaoge to you're going to be sleeping the whole day, you're going to get addicted to the medicine. Don't. If you have any questions about the medicine, talk to the doctor about it. Involve the family members, whoever you think. Every family has at least one good mama, one good chacha, one good bua, someone who the person can relate to. Find that person. Now, so then now coming back to your question, you know you said that sometimes you feel that people, when you're trying to help them, they are misunderstanding you. Okay. Or they do not want the help. Now, when people are mentally not feeling good, they tend to reject the help. But just think about it. If you are a group of friends who are reaching out to that friend of yours who needs help, or for example, if there is a friend of yours who's getting angry, irritable, drinking excessively, obviously there is something wrong with this person. And if you think that you're not able to reach out to them, reach out to people around them, because they may be noticing the same thing. And sometimes maybe 2, 3, 4 of you can go and meet the doctor without the patient and tell them that, I have a friend who's behaving like that. What do you think is the problem? When the doctor hears the entire story, he or she will be able to tell you how to behave with a person like this. So, because what happens is, in a physical health, for example, if somebody has a corona, they'll have a fever, they'll have a sore throat. If someone has fractured the hand, it will show on an x-ray. But with mental health issues, the problem, the stigma is because it does not show. And because it does not show, we are not able to understand it. So best is to reach out and describe the situation, and the person will be able to help you.
I just
You're
take
mute.
the next question. So the next question is, there is this child, Himangi Garg. She's saying that I have a problem of overthinking, and this has increased during the lockdown. And she said, I don't feel like doing anything, and I see there is no motivation to really do something. And I have gone into a stage where I self-doubt myself and self-frustration. So how am I supposed to help myself out of this?
Yes. So thank you for talking about this so openly, Himangi. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. Overthinking, overanalysis are the first steps of anxiety and depression. Lack of motivation, feeling of not doing anything, self-doubting means that already a depressive process has started. Now, what we need to do is, what you need to do is reach out to a mental health professional who will help, who will sit with you for at least half an hour to understand what is happening to you. Is this a reactive depression because of something that's going around? Because what has happened is, with lockdown, there's been a lot of change in everybody's life. When students were going out, they were going to school, they were going to college, they were socializing, they were meeting different people, they were learning from them. Now the initiative to do everything is coming on to yourself. And what is also happening is that the stress levels are rising with everybody around. So sometimes people would depend on their family members to calm them down. But today, because everybody is stressed, there are a lot of misunderstandings and people shut down communication. Now, I'm so happy you've spoken about it. That now the next step is I want you to reach out to a mental health professional, because this could be depression, and maybe you just need to talk about it. Maybe you need to take a medicine and you're going to be fine. But the first step is to know what is happening to you. And yes, if you have the guts to talk about this, I'm sure you're a very spunky young girl, so please don't self doubt yourself. Instead, take help for it.
Yeah, so the next question, Anjali, is she says that if I have to help a friend who is depressed, but what can I do? Like, I just don't want to talk to him and show him that he's depressed. Is there any other way of silently helping him get out of?
Yes. So when the best thing you can do for your friends is be with them when they are going through something. The second thing is you don't have to talk to them, you have to listen to them. If you remember, if you know, a good friend is someone who just allows you to be who they are. If you are around them when they are going through some crisis, please do not give advice, please do not give gyan, because we have lots of people who are there to give gyan, who are there to tell you, oh, don't go through this, don't be depressed, do this, do that. But if you could do it, you would be doing it, right? So the fact that you're not being able to do it means you're going through something. So the best friend is someone who's silently standing by you and who's not judging you, who is not trying to criticize you, who is there besides you. But at the same time, there are certain danger signs where you will have to do something. So for example, if your friend talks about harming himself or herself, that is a time that you say, no, I'm sorry, I love you too much, and I'm not going to allow you to do this. And I think we need to take help now.
Yeah, so that was very nicely said. I think it's clear with the retractor who had answered. Okay, so there is another question from retractor Rini Ramanan. So they say that, ma'am, there is always a scenario where I had to speak, but I couldn't. I was not able to. Then I had to create a same scenario in my brain. I feel anxious for not speaking or replying on time. So how do I overcome that phobia?
So this is clearly, as you have said, this is clearly anxiety. If you talk to some of the best speakers, whoever you think is the best speaker, you will always realize that they all had anxiety before they became good speakers. So a lot of them, I remember before my first talks, I would rehearse for hours together, looking at myself in front of the mirror. I had dogs, I would make them sit down in the audience and talk to them. So what happens is rehearsal is something which we must do to overcome anxiety. And what happens is when you are talking, you're always thinking that, my God, I made this mistake, I wish I should have said this, why did I say that? And you are punishing yourself. No one else is judging you, but you are punishing yourself. So sometimes I think you need to understand why you're being so harsh on yourself, and you need to stop doing that. I'll share one example with you. A couple of years ago, I was called to talk, and on the stage there was a very popular actor and me. We both had to talk. Now, while we were sitting backstage, I was thinking to myself, I said, who's going to listen to me in front of this actor? He's such a great orator. People love him. He has so many followers. And I saw him pacing up and down. So, there was a point where his eyes and my eyes met. And he says, people don't know this about me, but I get very nervous before I have to talk. So I looked at him and I said, here I was thinking, who's going to listen to me? He's saying, no, I'm thinking you're a doctor, you're more intelligent than me. Maybe who's going to listen to me? So all people have a little self-doubt. But what I want you to do is make the first step. Rehearse what you have to say. And also ask yourself, why are you self-doubting so much? Sometimes anxiety has to do with some few situations which may have started in childhood, where we were either ridiculed or we were pulled up or we went through some some incident. Now, talking to a psychologist one-on-one will also help you to do that. But the first step towards any change is recognizing what is wrong with you. You've already made the first step. I'm sure you're going to go ahead. You're mute.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
This question from Shiva. So Shiva says the online classes is giving the students a lot of stress, and we feel we have no time for ourselves, and we totally have no motivation for anything and lots of mental stress. What do we do to overcome this stress? I think we've discussed it quite a bit, but Anjali, you can throw.
Tell her in one line. So Shiva, that is because you're either dividing your day, and that is why I said it's very important to divide your day, because when you divide your day, you have limited time for something. Now what is happening is, because the online classes are going on, and maybe you need to follow all the things that I've told you. Get out of bed, do exercise, eat properly, and sit down for that work, and tell yourself that I'm only going to sit down for so much time. And it's only when you divide your day that you know that this is the time you have. Otherwise, what happens is stress has this habit of taking over all the space that you have. And yes, if you're not able to do that, I repeat, take help.
So I think Anu wants to take up a question. Yes, Anu. Anu Narang, past president Anu Narang.
Hi, Anjali.
I know.
Just wanted to know that I think somebody has asked also, and maybe it's the same way they've asked this, I don't know, is that how if you're staying in a rural area and you don't have access to psychologists or psychiatrists, how do you go about it?
So if you have access to internet, you have access to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Either you can email them, or you can call them. Or every district hospital is actually supposed to have mental health services. And our appeal to the government has also been that just as you have eradicated polio by giving 2 drops of the polio vaccine, similarly we want mental health for all. And I would love it if the Rotary could join hands and make that possible, because it's very easy today. Having a psychologist in a school, in a health center, is cheaper than getting one single computer. So we need to, and there are hospitals, all the district hospitals. If we have a psychiatrist over there, which most district hospitals have, one can access it. There is a myth that these are services which are only for rich people or only for the privileged, which is not true. In India, all the local hospitals have mental health services, but people are not aware of it. And we need to reach out to these.
Thank you.
Anjali, this is Rajan here.
Yes, Rajan. Hi.
Anjali,
Huh.
introduce myself. Anjali, I am the district governor. Thank you so much for that Rotary can take some action on it. In fact, I have a huge issue. It is very, very difficult. Let me talk a word in Hindi. Moment we talk about the mental stress, that stigma of ki pagalpan hai. People don't want to come, they don't want to share it all. I think this is one big campaign we can work on. कि पागलपन बोल के ऐसी कोई छुपाने वाली बात नहीं है, especially in this COVID situation. And also COVID को लेके इतनी चर्चा हुई है, इतनी बातें हुई हैं, people are getting fed up of anything connected with COVID. People don't want to talk about any issue on COVID. But this today's session was totally a different dimension to what you have addressed, what talk. And I think we need to have a very big session with Rotarians themselves on this topic. Thank you for sharing your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Crystally clear. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anjali. Shweta, can we have a token of appreciation for...
Yes, yes, it is ready. Dr.
Before that, I would like to give our gratitude in a nutshell. Thank you very much, Dr. Anjali ji. In your deliberation, you focused on the sleep-wake cycle, and you were wonderful when you talked about a confused bed. And you related that more time in bed leads to more anxiety and how it becomes a habit and leads to depression. Then you also talked beautifully about the balanced diet, the control on social media, and you focused on doing social services, which we Rotarians always do, and how hormonal regulation, hormonal control like oxytocin is related to it. So that was a very informative session by you, and how the hormonal imbalances lead to depression, leading to hard drinks, drugs, etc. Then you did a wonderful question and answer session. Dr. Anjali, at times when our own life goes out in tough situations, there is a person who rekindles it by its spark. And let me tell you, you are one of them who really rekindle the spark in the young ones post-COVID era, and they will become a good leader. Rotary International District 3250, on behalf of its district governor, Rajan Gandotra, pays sincere gratitude to you for your wonderful deliberation on looking forward to life post-COVID. Dr. Anjali, we have planted a tree in your name at Sundarban, and you can see the details by clicking on the link online, and you will get everything about it, where it has been planted. So here is your certificate of the tree plantation as a token of love.
Thank you so much. This is superb. You know, a tree being planted, a tree always signifies hope, and we always have hope.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Anjali. Shwetaji, would you like to come in?
Thank you so much, Dr. Anjali, for being there with us and for having accepted my invite to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having